On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh, and you'll see why 1984 won't be.
All right, I just want to show you that ad real quick by Apple. If you've never seen it for the first time, you probably didn't know that was an Apple ad selling computers. And a cool story about that, the board of directors for Apple almost did not want, they really didn't want to use that because they didn't understand, the advertising mindset behind it. And that's something that we're going to talk about right now. They were saying things like, this isn't showing computers, this is irresponsible, doesn't make any sense. But Steve Jobs and his advertiser understood that there's at that time technology meant something in people's mind. Okay, it meant that it could be something like Big Brother. They were kind of scared about going to this new era of technology. So what they said is that we're different. Be different. Be like us. Apple is not like Big Brother controlling the technology, creating an alternate path that gets people to have a common ground with to join. Okay. Now, if you don't understand advertising, you might not understand that, and it's still just a pretty interesting ad. They only ran the ad once in the Super Bowl, and that's the past 30, 40 years they've been talking about that ad. Okay. So what to expect in this lesson here, we're going to be talking about advanced advertising, marketing psychology, and also the scientific method. Okay. So advertising lessons from the madman. The power, the force, the overwhelming urge to own that makes advertising work comes from the market itself, not the copy. The copywriter's task is not to create the mass desire, but to channel and direct it. So this comes straight out of Breakthrough Advertising from a genius advertiser named Eugene Schwartz. Now, find this book. You go to breakthroughadvertisingbook.com. They sell it. It's the cheapest way you'll find it. And it's about 100, 200 bucks from there. If not, you'll have to get it for 500 bucks somewhere else. I guarantee you it is the best. That book right there is way better than the 10 best advertising books you can ever find. So this is out of the first chapter, and I wanted to put this for you because this is one of the sentences that changed my mindset on advertising, okay? Now, like I said, this is a media buying course, okay? I'm going to keep repeating myself on this. But if you're going to be advanced, there's a lot more things you need to understand, okay? So the power, the force, the overwhelming urge to own that makes advertising work. So what makes advertising work? It's crazy. You can put words on an image, words on a video, a headline, some text, okay? And that makes people take action and creates a force, a desire. How does that work? Okay, well, it's not because you're creating that desire because you have all these wizard-like powers. What it is that you're understanding that humans already have these existing desires, and you're finding out what they are, and you're amplifying those desires. Okay, the copywriter's task is not to create the mass desire, but to channel and direct it. So it comes from the market itself. This gave me a big change in how I thought about advertising, and it really helped advance my career in advertising. Okay, and I want you to understand this. You can, if you don't understand cognitive biases, the life forces, why we are wired the way we are, you're just going to be guessing in your advertisements. Okay, your copywriting is just going to be thrown out there guessing, and if you're just getting breaking even on your Facebook ads, that's why, because you're not provoking any action for people to take. There's certain things that people desire because we're human. And if we can get those desires to amplify and be perceived bigger than the value, the price, then that's how you get things that get bought, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about here because, this is a media buying course, but maybe you're a copywriter, maybe not, okay? This is something that I would hate to not go over. I would feel unethical just giving you how to click here and how to do media buying without going over this. Okay, and this is very, very powerful. A lot of this information I'm telling you is only meant to be used ethically, because if this isn't put in the wrong hands, and you could just, part of my agency, our mission statement is purpose meets people. Okay, every single one of my clients has to have a purpose in creating the world a better place. I know it sounds maybe cheesy or too altruistic, but I do that because I know that what I could do is powerful. I could turn the lights on someone's business and affect a lot of people, and so I want to affect people in a positive way. Okay. So advanced marketing psychology. Okay, so these are the 10 tools of the trade. Okay, I call these models or tools. This is really your secret weapon. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I didn't go to college for that. I dropped out of college. I didn't go to, I'm not a scientist. I don't study neurology, but I study people that do, and I listen to them. Okay, there's very intelligent people out there that study the human brain and behavior and persuasion, and they write books on it, and they post articles on it, and I read them, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to do the work. You don't have to be a scientist, or just have to understand these. So I organize them, and I put them here to teach you guys. Okay, this isn't coming from me. I'm the messenger right now, and I'm just taking what's coming from scientists and what they found as factual and giving it straight to you guys. Okay, so the number one thing here is the 8 life forces. So first, okay, yeah, I have all the stuff right there. Okay, so I'm going to show you all this, and we'll go into it later. On the next slide, we'll dive into each one of these. So the 8 life forces and 9 secondary wants. This is by Drew Whitman. The book Cashvertising talks about these. This is when he looked at a bunch of different big like Madison Avenue advertising agencies, and they had their own psychologists come up with some models on what creates human bias and why we do things that we do, and they organize those in 8 different life forces and also the 9 secondary wants. They're extremely powerful. That's my favorite, what I use for copywriting and just selling in general. 5 stages of awareness. That's by Eugene Schwartz. We'll go over that. 25 cognitive biases. So each one of these things, you need to take the action upon yourself to look up, read, understand. Reading about these, understanding them, flooding your senses with these models here is really going to get you have a really great subconscious. So when you're selling someone in person, online, you're going to have that, kind of extra intelligence, okay, that's going to be in the back of your mind just to think one step ahead of people to understand where you're leading them. And so this is a 25 Cognitive Biases by Charlie Munger. That's Warren Buffett's business partner. He's an extremely intelligent guy. He came up with these, which are awesome. ADA, which is the Awareness, Interest, Desire, Action. I use that for building out landing pages, a little bit different, but that's also good. That's an old sales tactic and stuff to understand how to sell people in a wave in a sequence. B equals MAT by B.J. Fogg. He's a behavioral scientist. That means behavior equals motivation times action times trigger. 8 human emotions. Daniel Goleman is a guy who wrote Emotional Intelligence, and we need to know the emotions that we're evoking at certain times in the funnel. Spin selling. That's situation, problem, implication, need, payoff. Influence. The book by Robert Cialdini. It's just a great book to read to understand the mind and why people get influenced and how you can influence them in an ethical way. Flesch-Kincaid score. This isn't really psychology. This is more of like a logical way to understand, how complicated is your copywriting. If it's too complicated, make it dumb it down some. You want a 5th grader to be able to read your copywriting. That's what that does. Also, hypothesis kits. These are just things that I use. There's a lot more up there. This is something that's cool for more analytical minded because it's media buying. This doesn't have really much to do with psychology. This has to do a lot with the scientific method, how to create a hypothesis, which I said we're going to go into the scientific method right here towards the end. So let's dive into some of these here. Oops. Let me open up all these. Okay. Here we go. So the first one, 8 life forces. This is awesome. So if your Facebook ads doesn't contain something that's provoking one of these 8 life forces, you're wasting your money. Okay? This is all summed up of the reason why we do things. So, like I said, you'd spend a lot of money to learn this stuff, or if you just do your due diligence, and read books, you'll learn this stuff for very cheap. So this is how I explain this here. Each product has multiple personas, audiences, right? So think about it. Let's break this down to an analogy here. each product, let's use yoga pants or leggings for example. So if you're selling leggings, you have girls that like to work out in them, workout leggings, yoga pants. Use them just for yoga. That's another persona. Also use it for when it's cold out. They want to use them as base layers to wear under their pants. And number four, they use them as a fashion piece. People that just like wearing them as a fashion piece. Now, these might be the same person. It might be different people that just use them for this. So each product has multiple different personas. So leggings, one product, has about 4 different audiences, okay? Each audience can have 8 different angles in it. And the angles, I call angles these life forces. So, for example, if you're selling these yoga pants or these leggings to girls that like doing yoga, you could use one of these 8 angles, and one of them could be survival of enjoyment of life extension. Now, you're going to say, how the heck do you do that? Well, you just got to get more creative. It's complicated, yes, but you know that this will sell because we're humans, and you know this works on us. So, really, what it does is it's how you work the angle, okay? And if you think that you can't do this, think about the Apple ad that we just watched, okay? What did they sell? They're still just being, freedom from fear, pain, and danger, I would say. Let's see, also social approval. What they sold is to be different. There's also these 9 secondary wants. Also, curiosity was in that one. Let's see. Yeah, I would say curiosity, and really what they did is just to be unique, to be different, be superior. So there's a lot of things you could bring in that come down to these 8 life forces. And think about it, they were selling computers. Dell, Microsoft, IBM, they weren't that creative. They were the people that came here and they said, none of this stuff is going to work. Apple they came up with this. They took computers. Buying a computer means that you're different. Now they did that with what? With advertising, okay? So there's also the 9 secondary wants. So these are also, if you can't figure these out, you also got these guys here. So each angle, now this gets even more complicated. Each angle can be used at different stages of awareness depending on your market sophistication. So what this means is that, so now you're saying you're selling leggings and you're going to the yoga, you're targeting women that are interested in yoga, saying Facebook ads, that's your targeting, and you're selling them on social approval. You're saying that all these people are getting them and all this stuff, using a bunch of UGC content, a lot of reviews. And now you need to understand, where is that person in the market? If it's a very sophisticated market, all you have to say is that if it's a brand new market, say yoga pants just came out yesterday, all you have to say, these make your butt look good, okay? And then girls would buy them. Now, if you just come with yoga pants, like, guys, guess what? I just came with these yoga pants. They make your butt look good. The market's already sophisticated past that point. They don't care about that. That was 10 years ago, So this is what I mean by market sophistication. So I have another diagram that goes deeper into this, which this might be kind of confusing now, so we'll get into that. So next, I want to talk about this marketing psychology sheet that I'll be sharing with you guys. And this right here is really all these things that we talked about. And this is just all these right here, okay? So this is what we just went over, to cash advertising. I also give credit where credit is due. A lot of times people sell this stuff and they say that they came up with it, or this is my proprietary tool, which is all BS. If you don't give credit where credit is due, it's just, I think that's just very ignorant and wrong. So 25 Cognitive Tendencies. This is by Charles Munger. This comes out of the book. I think it's called the Charles Almanac. I read it. I have it's a Charles Almanac or something like that. It looks like the Benjamin Almanac book, whatever. Sorry if I don't know the name of it, but just type that in. You'll find that book and get in and read it. So he comes up with these 25 cognitive biases. They're very similar to the 8 human life forces. So once you read these, it's almost kind of scary, because you're like, wow, this is why I think a certain way. This is why I'm This is why I have the doubt avoidance. This is why I have curiosity tendency, liking, loving tendency, all these things, stress influence. There's things called positive stress that advertisers, you could write copy to give someone positive stress, and you add some stress in their life that makes them take action about something that they were prolonging to pay you money and also get what they need to be faster. There's a lot of different things you can do here. Lollapalooza means that you're using multiple tendencies at once. The 5 stages of awareness. So like I said, I'm just going to skim through these. You guys need to do your due diligence and study these to become an extreme advertiser. If all you're doing is buying ads, you're not an advertiser. You're just clicking buttons on Facebook. I want this course to be able to connect advertising psychology and also analytical media buying together. Okay, grow your corpus callosum, become a true advanced Facebook media buyer. Like I said, the first couple lessons don't have anything to do about Facebook. And then we're going to dive into straight, very deep Facebook analytical things and methods and stuff like that we could do in Facebook that I use all the time for my clients. So also we got here 5 stages of awareness. I have a whole entire thing on this right here, so I'm not going to get to that right now. Spin selling, this is pretty cool. Situation, problem, implication, need, payoff. So the reason I put all these up here is because if you realize all these different models, humans we're all the same brain. So they're all kind of working the same way, but just different. So, this one is first understand the situation they're in, figure out the problem. This is kind of like the 5 stages of awareness, a little bit different. This is great for selling. If you're in sales, this is what this book is about, actually, sales, but I use it for, just advertising psychology. At the end of the day, it's human to human, mind to mind. So spin selling, situation, problem. Now say for an example, you're in a situation that you realize that your car on the concrete, you see it drips of oil. Okay, it's leaking oil. So now you realize, okay, I got a problem. Now I need my car. There's a problem. My car's going to break down unless I get this oil changed. So what if I was a salesman trying to get you to spend more money and take care of your engine better and maybe do an upsell to you to replace your oil pan or the gasket or something like that in your car? What I would say is I would make implications out of it. Now, this isn't lying. It has to be ethical. Obviously, all advertising has to be ethical. So what you would do, and this is what's the coolest part about this process, is the implication process. You would find the 2nd, 3rd, 4th order causes and say, you know what, yeah, you do need a good oil change, and yeah, your engine will burn up if you don't do it. But if you don't replace your oil pan, you're going to come back here and it's going to be an extra $100 next month, plus extra, you're going to have to get your rings replaced, which to do that as a top-end rebuild, you have to do all this different stuff in your engine. Then your car's probably going to be out for a week. Car's out for a week, you might miss work. You miss work, you can't provide for your family. Now you're just a poor dad. Okay, now you're a deadbeat dad, not providing for your family because you didn't take action today to fix this little tiny problem of spending $100 extra to fix your oil pan. Okay, that's how you do the implication thing. And you say, now you could fix all those problems that you have right now. It's going to exist just for spending $100. So now you made the value, all the problems right here. All you got to do is spend this much money. That's how that works. You do the same thing with ads, but this is a sales tactic. Okay. 8 human emotions here. This is just what they are. What the emotions that we have as humans comes from Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. Those are very interesting to you to understand. This is so this is really cool. I love using this. This is great for CRO, all your conversion rate optimization guys out there. So behavior equals motivation times action times trigger. So really, excuse me for a second. Okay, so really what this is this is why us as humans take action. Advertising, we're going to try to get people to take action. So what we should do, instead of being ignorant and saying, oh, I'm just going to figure this out and do what I think is best to make them take action, let's go to the behavioral scientists and see what they say how to take action. What he says is that you need to have high motivation and an easy to do ability. Whatever is really easy for you to do, low ability, like anyone could do it, and the motivation is very high, that equals action. Now, if it's low motivation and medium ability, it's still easy to do, but it's low motivation, it's not going to happen. If it's, right here, say medium to high motivation, like, yeah, that sounds interesting to do it, but it's very hard to do, action's not going to happen. So this is kind of, if you study how habits are made, a cue, a trigger. So say for Facebook ads, in our case, media buying, one of our potential customers is scrolling down the Facebook feed, and they see something triggers them, the cue. They see, oh, well, it's interesting, okay? And we have a good pattern interrupt in our ad that triggers them. They see the ad, now there's two things going to happen. They're going to take action, they're not going to take action. So if you're motivating them enough to take action, we already know it's very easy. All they have to do is go like this, click. Very easy to do. So it's already over here, okay? You don't have to go through all this work to click a button. So that's what's cool. Facebook is helping us out on that. Now, motivation that's where we're falling off on. Okay, that's where we need more work in the media buying and the Facebook advertising. Okay, so now if the motivation is all the way up, it's up to here. Now it's very easy to do. Now we use very good copywriting where we're using maybe the strategy where we create a big problem and pain points and we make it bigger than the value. Get this, learn for free how you can solve all these problems. Wow, I'm motivated to learn for free because I have these problems. Click that. Now you're in this zone here. The triggers succeed here, okay? So for conversion rate optimization, this is great because testing button colors and stuff like that, what motivates people, which is also great usability for people to click on it, okay? Pro tip, most consultants, mentors, and gurus are just regurgitating content from these books. Cut time in half, going straight to the source and read. So I put together this list to you from some books that I've read. Here's also some awesome websites and stuff like that. So yeah, just go ahead and read these. Some books are meant to be read and studied. I would definitely say this one. Let's go ahead and bold that one. There's emotional intelligence. People say like, oh, I read a book a day, a book a week. I've studied a book for half a year and I've got way more out of it every single time I read it. So don't see this, I'm not bragging that I've read all these books. Don't see this as like something just to go through these. Really find a book that you need to solve a problem with right now and study it. Okay, that's the best way I like reading books. I don't care if you can read a book in a day or not. Read a book, study it. If you can read a book and have it affect the rest of your life, that's how you read a book. Okay, so let's go back to this right here. Is going to take the majority of the lesson. This is my favorite thing. This is what I created here, but like I said, to get credit is where credit is due. Most of this is coming from Breakthrough Advertising, and also a bunch of other books. Some of these books here that I've read down here, and I just kind of took all this knowledge I got, and the reason I made this is because I'm training my media buyers. I just wanted a way to explain everything in 45 minutes, which is very hard to do. So I'm going to do that in about 20 minutes for you guys. You guys could go ahead and stop and pause and go through this. So let's dive into this, okay? So really what this is why people buy. And this, if you don't understand this here, you're not going to be able to scale your ads. Because like I said, about that economies of scale thing, you can just put in more money. That's great. But do you know what really is a great return ad spend and a great way to increase your ROAS and a great way to increase your profits, which is most important metric, is great copywriting and great creatives that go together, the right timing. Okay, there's a huge lack of education out there about how to get ads to work. It's funny, like this is a media buying course, and the reason I'm doing all this psychological stuff out there because I didn't want to be another one of those people out there just teaching about bidding methods and my new strategy, my new method. The thing is, the method that you'll learn is going to, in 3 months, Facebook's going to change. By the time the course is over, if this new bidding method, you have to redo the course again. So I believe teaching evergreen things. A lot of my standard operating procedure I'm going to show you for my Facebook bidding method, a lot of the stuff in there is evergreen, okay? So that's why I'm making this course way more value than the money that you're spending. And this is probably one of my most valuable assets I consult people with right here. So pay attention, take some notes. This will change your life. All right, so why people buy? All right, so human tendencies plus environment equals role. Now, this, like I said, this is influenced from the breakthrough advertising. And a lot of the stuff, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a scientist, a lot of stuff is influenced, and I'm tying it all together so it all makes sense. So, you don't hear people talk about role in advertising, and role, I'm telling you, is really the only reason people buy, okay? It's for who you want to be. So, let's start from the beginning here, though. Human tendencies, so we just talked about those 25 cognitive biases, your instincts, why we became why we're here, the reason we think certain things from our instinct, from how we are, the 8 life forces, all that has to do with how we came to be, okay, and over time, how we think certain ways from our environment, okay. Now you go over here to environment. So human tendencies plus this environment equals our role. So the environment are things like, your location, what's surrounding you all the time, the 5 people you're hanging out with, your friends, your network, your family, even your financial position puts an environment on your viewpoint and all this stuff. Okay, so for example, say if, let's use an analogy here just so I can explain this the easiest way as possible. Say if you want to go out to eat, and everyone does this every single day. I'm sure you do this. I do this all the time. You're going out to eat. I say it's lunchtime, and if you don't have anything prepped for you, you're just looking on your phone. What do I want to eat? And you're just scrolling, and you have it like it's a decision fatigue. We all Americans have this problem trying to figure out where to eat every day, and we're having this fatigue. Like, man, I don't know what to eat. What your mind's doing is it's using your human cognitive tendencies. You want comfortable. You want something that's going to make you feel good. You want to go to a place that's where you want to be. You want to, all the 8 life forces. You want to see a place that has a lot of reviews. That's a social proof life force. You want to have food is health. What was it? I think it was like enjoyment of food and beverages. So there's one. You have these biases in you that's going to make you decide, but you also have your environment. These are the 2 things that alter your decision. So say if your environment, your friends are in keto, your friends have been saying things subconsciously and you're affecting your belief system, what you believe in about food. Oh, this place has MSG. MSG is bad. You always hear this from people, right? Oh, that's bad because of this, because their environment is saying these things. So your environment plus your human tendencies, your cognitive biases is going to create who you want to be in a microsecond for you to take that decision right there. And that's all happening subconsciously, okay? Like I said, I'm not making this up. This is coming from books that people know what they're talking about. So the way this works is human tendencies over here, they create a desire, okay? All desires are created from cue, a stimuli that induces human tendencies. So like if you learn how habits work, first you see a cue, alarm clock goes off, you do the habit, you get up, do your routine, and you get the reward, okay? So that's how that works. We create the desire, the role of who you want to be is the reward. This may not make sense yet, but it will eventually, okay? Belief system. Beliefs are gradually built on relaxed subconscious awareness within the environment. So say if, so that's pretty much self-explanatory. So your environment creates your belief system. Good way to explain this, a good analogy I like to use is, have you ever heard of Stockholm Syndrome, okay? That means that, if you would think, a Stockholm Syndrome means that so the kidnapper, if you get kidnapped, you fall in love with the person who kidnapped you, okay? That's what that is. So say like you would think that if someone kidnapped you for 10 years, you would hate that person, no matter what they do. Say they could never, you'd want to kill them, right? You can't stand that person, okay? No, but I'm telling you, this is powerful stuff. Your environment, this is an actual thing. I'm not making this up, okay? If you're living in someone's basement for 10 years and that's your environment, this actually happens where people start falling in love with their kidnapper. It's called Stockholm Syndrome, okay? So your environment creates your role. For some reason, your brain will start telling you, because that's how our brain works, it's going to use these human cognitive tendencies and plus the environment that you're in. It's going to be like, for some reason, I feel like I belong with this person. Maybe this is supposed to be meant to be. These are the things that these people say. It's because of this stuff here. Another example, when you go to a circus, you see a circus act, or I've never been to a circus thing, but I know one of the acts they have is they have a huge, gigantic elephant tied to a little tiny rock, and he acts like he can't move. Okay, how do they do that? Ever since an elephant was a baby, they tie it to a rock that it really can't move. So it's struggling, it can't move. It creates that environment for it. Over time, it starts thinking, wow, I can't move from this rock, I'm not even going to try. It creates its belief system. I believe that I cannot move from that rock. So now when it's 10 years old or whatever, and it's a big giant elephant, it's a circus act. So that's really how that works. There's plenty of analogies. Even if you're like, this is kind of an unethical one, extremely unethical, but it gets a point across. So if people that create cults, right, what do? They string along little tiny pieces of agreement. And if you went to someone right away and you said, hey, look, let's hang out in my basement for 5 years, there's no way they're going to say yes. But if you're getting to their environment by disagreeing with them and start changing their environment, I'm obviously not teaching you how to create a cult. If you just start stringing along little agreements, hey, what's your favorite baseball team? Oh, me too. You get in their environment, start controlling their environment, and then you say, hey, you know what? Why don't you check out my baseball ball? Then that's how that happens, okay? Environment creates your belief system, okay? Human tendencies, it creates the desire that we have just because we're human. These two together create who you want to be, your role, where you feel like you belong. Now, why is this important with advertising? Roles are the personality traits that your product will help the prospect build. So, for example, say I'm interested in physical fitness. I'm in a keto diet and I want to build on some mass. Now I see a course out there for $10 a month. I could get this personal trainer, and it's going to be an app for me to get accountability to do that. Now, I'm not going to see that as an ad or anything else. I'm going to see that as a solution to get to who I want to be faster. That's what good advertising is. You shouldn't be spending your ads in front of people, wasting their time. That's like disrespect. Putting your ads in front of someone where they don't want to be that person. Like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to have good targeting. Make sure that we're putting your ads helping people become who they want to be. Do you see how advertising is starting to become a great thing, starting to become an amazing thing to help other people's lives? All I'm doing is trying to help people become who they want to be faster, okay? And once you understand that's how great advertising works, that's really why people buy. And the role is, another word is status, okay? People use status. So if I want to be this person, your product should be a shortcut for me to be there, and that's why I'm going to buy. And a lot of it has to do with status, because most times people want to get status. Not everyone, but majority of consumers, they want to. That's why Gucci, Nike, like all these brands. That's why there's a such thing as a brand, because people are doing it, and that's why that brand exists. Okay, so that's really how that works. And there's some information over here too. Belief is the mental picture that your prospect lives in. Okay, that's by Breakthrough Advertising from Eugene Schwartz. The aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well that the product or service fits him and sells itself. This is literally saying what I just said. Why would we be marketing? The aim of marketing is to know the customer so well that we're putting a shortcut to who they want to be. You shouldn't be advertising to people that they don't want to be that. Okay, that's just wasted ad spend. If all of your ad spend is on something to get a shortcut to who they want to be, that's not wasted. That's profit. Okay, and you're just making the world a better place. Okay, roles are the personality traits that your product will help the prospect build. What they want to be known for and the reward. Oh, I already read that. I don't know. I read that again. Sorry, I'm on a crazy one right now. So let's read this one. Pro tip. Good advertising should make the product look like a shortcut for the person to become who they want to be. Okay, I've said that again too. So that is that one. This also helps you create benefits for your product. So this is just the first step of this marketing triad here. So now we figure out who they want to be. So now you're thinking, okay, this is a waste of my time if this has nothing to do with Facebook ads. I can't really learn Facebook ads. So let's talk about how you could use this with Facebook ads. Human tendencies, cognitive biases, all that stuff. Okay? Copywriting. That's what you're going to put in the copy, okay? Also, the environment, a location, friends, family. That's the targeting. You're going to target them. So we're using copywriting to amplify the existing mass desires, like Eugene Schwartz said, okay? Other existing mass cognitive biases. creating the desire that they already have because we study the 8 life forces. We know the desires they have. We're putting a product behind those 8 life forces. We're increasing those desires. And then we're also targeting them because we know their environment, we know the demographics around them. Okay, the role. This is where the creative comes in. We're putting a picture. So we have the targeting. We know who they are here. Okay. Now we'll also have the human tendencies. We're creating the desires. And then now what we're going to do is put a picture, a creative, or a video of people of who they want to become. I want to be this person. I want to get this done faster. This person is similar to the role that I want to be. What I do, I ask my clients, a lot of the times the person that owns the business created this business for a reason because they feel like they want this product out there. So I use that and I create an ad and I say, what does this picture make you feel? And if a lot of times they'll say, I feel like I want to be that person. And that's when I know it's a winner. It doesn't happen all the time, but when my client says that, I'm like, okay, this is going to work. That's still a bias off of me. Facebook ads we should test, but that's also something that's fun to do. So that's how that works. We got the creative here. So let's move on. So what is already in the prospect's head from your competitors? What level of sophistication should your message to the cold audience be? So now we've figured out who they want to be. We figured out the type of copy we have, the desires they have, and how to increase those desires. Put your product behind it, and we figured out the demographic. Okay, now we figured all that stuff out. Now it's not going to do you any good if you use the wrong timing and the wrong market sophistication. So remember what I said about market sophistication. So what if we said all this stuff and we said that, our consumer wants to buy yoga pants, and we're going to put a picture in front of them that looks really good and they want to be that person. Okay, we did all this. That's great. Now, yoga pants have been selling for the past 10, probably way longer, obviously. 20, 30 years. I don't know. I know they've been trending like crazy for the past 10 years. So we have to understand the market sophistication. Okay, another example is in the 40s when cigarettes advertising was the biggest thing. When the first came out, it was just like, feel good, feel cool, look, reduce stress, all this stuff. And then another company would come out, say Marlboro or whatever, would come out and say like, reduce stress, feel good, and enjoy your breaks, or something like that, your work breaks. And then the market would get a little bit more sophisticated. Then another brand would come out and say something like, you know what, those other brands, we do all that other stuff, but actually those other brands have nicotine. Ours has less nicotine, so it's actually even healthy for you. Okay, now the market starts saying, whoa, that's nicotine, that's bad for us, that's crazy. Now the market starts getting more sophisticated. It starts with the advertising. Now it's still going on. We're all the way on e-cigs. So if you were to measure each, put one level at each level of market sophistication, you'd probably be on like level 15 right now with how sophisticated the cigarette market is. Okay, so now you figured out all this. Okay, the copy, the demographic, and the role, the creative. The best of all that, now we figured out where your competitors are at. You do this by just looking at competitive intelligence reports of your competitors. I'm not one for looking at competitors. I believe what Jeff Bezos says is we focus on the customers and our competitors focus on us. But in this scenario, is one of the few times where I do want to look at what are the competitors saying to my consumers. I want to dominate them. I want to make sure that we're just destroying them, and we need to be aware of what they're saying and not be ignorant of that. So that's where this comes in. Okay, if you're saying the same exact message that sounds less, just wasted ad spend. Okay, now you're going to come in. This has a lot to do with positioning also, which is more advanced. We'll get into later. So now we got this. So we figured this out. We figured out where they're at and how sophisticated they are in the market. So now we want to know, are they cold or hot traffic? How close are they buying? So this is how advertising works. Okay, this is a complicated explanation of advertising. I'm doing it in a short amount of time, so that's why there's a lot of different things here. So when they get to here, number one, they're unaware. So with Facebook advertising, a lot of the times people aren't unaware because we have targeting. So they should be, aware that they're searching for something. And if you're using conversion ads, it's Facebook's telling us that they're ready to buy. So they'll be more around here. But just for the, educational purposes, or if say if you're using video views and people are unaware, for one of my clients, we're just using video views and we're killing it. And we're literally getting a 20-cent cost per clicks. Okay, and I'll show you if you don't believe me, it's crazy. And we're going to a completely cold market too. So anyways, so this is the 5 stages of awareness. I hear people teaching us all the time without giving credit to the man, Eugene Schwartz, okay? And it kind of pisses me off. People will use this on Facebook ads. Seeing people on a Facebook ad just teaching this and saying it's their proprietary tool or something. That's a bunch of baloney. They didn't create this. So yeah, that's from Breakthrough Advertising there. So right here, well, this essentially means that if the prospect is unaware, they know nothing except for their own identity. They don't know that they have a problem. They don't know anything about you. All they know is that they exist. Okay. Now they say, let's use the car. Let's use the oil change example. Okay. So now they're just driving around. They don't know there's any problem at all. And then they drive they park the car. Next thing you know, they look down on the sidewalk and they see some black drops of oil. Okay. Now they see, oh man, there's a problem. That's all they know. Problem. Now they're problem aware, okay? But they don't know the solution. They might say it's oil pan problem. It could be an engine crack. Could just need to get an oil change. Could be the transmission. Maybe they don't know the difference. There could be a lot of different things, right? But they know there's a problem. Okay, this is very important to understand when you're marketing someone. A lot of times the timing of your message is off, and the context of your message is to the wrong awareness here. So then you talk to a mechanic and he tells you, oh, I looked at it, it's just you need an oil pan gasket. Oh, okay. So now they know the solution. I have to replace my oil pan gasket and it will fix the oil leak. That's the solution. But now there's multiple different products, multiple different gaskets, multiple different mechanics, multiple different auto shops. Which product should I use? Okay, these are the stages of awareness. And you really can't. This is how we think about things, and you can't really do it any differently. So now, once they're product aware, they realized, man, the problem is I'm leaking oil. I found the solution is the gasket. Now this is the product that I'm going to use. Now I'm completely aware. I just need to know the time and the place to give me my mind to fix this. Okay, so that's really the 5 stages of awareness there. So what I did is I've used other books and also some from Breakthrough Advertising and just experience and testing what works in each stage to get people to the next stage. So you can't just like make people go to the next stage with guessing on advertising. There's certain things you have to do. So if someone's completely unaware of they have a problem at all, and you just tell them like, here's a solution, and they'll be like, solution for what? This is what most advertising is. So what you want to do is you just want all you want, and this they teach us in sales, is to get agreement. Okay? So if you're unaware of something, you don't care about solutions and problems. That just looks like advertising to you. But if someone says, we stand for this, and we know that you stand for this because of good targeting and research, and we get someone to agree for that, you're going to see an ad and be like, oh, that's cool. I like that. I stand for that. Okay? Agreement. Then do it again. Get habit of agreement. You know what you did? You just created that person to like you. You get someone to agree with you twice, they like you a lot better than they didn't, obviously, than before. So now you want to get agreement. That's the first thing with sales, marketing, everything is the first thing to get agreement. That's why I use that cult explanation, because that's the far extremes of how you get someone to agree with you, just for an example. So then you want to show them that they have a problem. Now, you don't want to create problems, like I said, ethical advertising. But if someone really has a problem and you're solving it, hell yeah, 110%. It's your duty and obligation to tell them about that problem and make sure it gets solved fast. The best thing about sales and marketing is that if you understand that people have a problem and and they're not fixing it, if you don't sell them, if they don't pay you money, they lose and you lose. Okay, so if people have a problem and you're targeting them, First thing you need to do is get their belief system built up that this is an important problem, okay? Belief system. This is kind of a technical thing. You don't have to do this. It's called inoculation. This is where you get people to agree on their own belief system. This is where you get people to say things out there to admit that they have a problem, okay? Inoculate it. Then acceptance. So if if we're changing someone's belief system, there's going to be objections, okay? So you want to start be one step ahead of the game by giving risk removal, by saying what the risks are and the common objections are before they actually happen. That's how you get the belief system. Okay, so now they believe that they have this problem, okay? And I guarantee you, only thing that most people are telling you is just to talk about the benefits. Now, benefits are over here in solution. What are you going to tell them the benefits on if they don't even know what the problem they have? What are the benefits to a cold market? See, the problem with Facebook advertising, you scroll on Facebook, you're going to see ads all the time, like economically created, like all these different features and benefits. This will help you live faster, live longer, live stronger, it's better, all these things. About what? I don't have a problem. I don't need this. Get out of my face, So these benefits, you have no benefits if there's nothing to sell. So you got to do these two things first. And this stuff in a practical Facebook ad is you want to use top of the funnel content. You want to use short 15-second or less video ads showing things like that people agree on, and to get people to agree on things, you just use some of these cognitive tendencies. We know that they believe that. Give that to them. Social proof, show attractive people, smiling, having fun in nature. Say we're helping 1,000 people. Say we're planting 1,000 trees this week. Wow, that's a great top of the funnel video ad to get the agreement. We believe in this, and if you don't believe in this, this is kind of a problem out there. We're going to solve this problem together. Get people to believe the problem. This is the solution, and these are the benefits that you'll get after getting the solution, okay? So that's what the solution aware is. And I have clothing. My clients are usually D2C e-commerce companies, so direct-to-consumer e-commerce selling apparel online or other, I do other things too. So I use these with selling clothes. And the clothes that we sell are actually ethical, and they actually do great things for the environment, and they also really high-quality clothes. For a few of my clients. So this can work for anything is what I'm saying. So now they get solution aware. So now they see, okay, this is a solution to this problem. So what are the benefits? What's the more of the logic? Up here, to get someone to completely unaware, it's going to be more emotions. That's why you need to know these these emotions here so you can use these to your power, okay? Get them to agree with you and stuff like that. Use emotions to get agreement and likability. Now, once you get more down the funnel, it's more of logic. Okay, if people first buy emotionally, and then they tell themselves why they bought it logically. Okay, so solution aware. Then it gets to the benefits, the logic. So this is the solution. Then people they're usually going to be have reservations about it. Like, why is this the solution? What Tell me why. Why is it? Does it logically make sense? Okay. Now, depends on the product price also. If it's an expensive product, they're going to have to do a lot more of logic. If it's an emotional product, you're going to have to it's a cheaper product, more emotions, more impulse buy, more just cognitive biases to get them to buy that thing, okay? Well, we go over here to product aware. So this is what this is more deep positioning because they found out the solution. Okay, another one here is education on the solution aware. If you educate them about the solution, then they will become an advocate of that solution. So then it goes down to product aware. So product awareness. Now, you want to use depositioning trust, something called loss aversion, which means, so what this means is that now they know they have this solution, so now they got 4 different brands or whatever. Say they want to buy shoes, they got Nike, they got Adidas, they got the Champion, whatever. They got all these different, they got Jordan's, shoes they want to buy. Which one is going to get them to buy it, okay? So what a brand would do is they do depositioning. What makes us so different? What makes Nike so much different from Adidas? Okay, that's why they use certain type of advertisements. Also loss aversion. Loss aversion is one of the strongest human tendencies or things, instincts that we have. So we hate losing things more than we like gaining things. Okay, remember that. So it's what a lot of brands do. They'll say you'll lose this. Like for a perfect example, Popeyes right now, the chicken sandwich has been going crazy. Also, you got the Chick-fil-A. All Popeyes did was says chicken sandwich open on Sundays. People they feel like they're losing out because they're not getting their chicken sandwich on Sundays. Okay, that's deposition right there. Completely. So first, let's do this one. Love. So a lot of the times, like there's this company called Patagonia, and they sell outdoor clothing. And what they do is they have this thing called like for the 1% or something like that, and they give 1% of their profits. Don't quote me on this. I think it's 1% of the profits to the country Patagonia for the environment. Um, and there's people that are environmentalists. I guarantee you, they're wearing Patagonia, not North Face. Okay, North Face. These other companies are actually a brand. The office I'm in is actually North Face, so that's why I'm talking quiet right now. So yeah. So anyways, Patagonia is actually that. So what I'm saying is use love. Okay, they have love behind their purpose. That's something that people would pick them for. So completely aware. So this is this means that you just want to have good usability on your website. All you just need to know the time and the place to give you the money. Okay, you've already did all this work. Now just don't have a crappy website. Don't have a really long load speed. Make sure it works. Make sure that the consumer doesn't have banner blindness and just doesn't like anything you have, which I'll show you later. So that's what that is. Okay. So that's really what this is. So this is what I call the marketing triad. I've used a lot of other people's findings and models and put them all together. And hopefully this is going to help you, with your advertising and your mindset. Okay. After this one, we're going to start getting more into the algorithm and the Facebook auction. So this is actually no, we still got some more stuff to go about the scientific method. And after that, we're going to go into the Facebook auction and stuff like that. So let's go back over here. So how to use this with Facebook. I kind of already talked about that. Audience research. Let's go back here to split test scientific method. So split testing meets Facebook. All right. So if you show here, I have this thing. I always tell my employees and stuff: split test or die. I don't know. I think it's funny, but split testing meets Facebook. Identify it. So this is the scientific method. There's different reiterations of it. This is how I say it. They teach us in like third grade. I just learned this a few years ago. What is the scientific method? Identify a goal or problem. Gather and analyze data. Develop a hypothesis. Test your hypothesis. Analyze the results. Number 6, optimize hypothesis. Okay? So really all this stuff is kind of common sense. Come with a goal or problem. Gather the data, use Google Analytics, Facebook Analytics, all these other tools you could use. Look at the data, look at the breakdown reports on the ads manager for using dynamic creatives, something I'll show you how to do. Then you want to come up with a hypothesis. This is the only thing that people that isn't common sense, is how to create a hypothesis. So this is how you create a hypothesis. This guy, Craig Sullivan, is hypothesis king over here. Because we saw data feedback, we expect that this change will cause this impact. We'll measure this using this data metric. Just screenshot that, write that down, type in this guy hypothesis kit if you want to learn more about that. So actually, let's go here. I'll show you one. Whoops. Come on now. All right. So split test or die. All right. So my goal or problem is my cost per acquisition for my bottom of the funnel dynamic product ad campaign is out of KPI. There's some ad lingo for you guys. The data I have gathered and analyzed is cost per click is $2.20. CTR is 1.2%. Cost per acquisition is $47, and frequency is 4.3. Now, with average order value around $100, say for an example, I could see a red flag is that it's kind of a high CPA, but also that's a pretty high frequency. Now let's look at it. Do I have some overlap and all stuff? So the hypothesis I developed is, because I saw this data here, this quantitative data, I expect that reducing audience overlap will cause frequency to go down and CPA to decrease. I'll measure this using Ads Manager. Now this should be more specific here. I'll measure this using this process, so I would fix that there. I will test this hypothesis using this method. I will pause other dynamic product ad bottom of the funnel campaign that is redundant, causing overlap, and wait for 3 days, leaving the goal of bottom of the funnel DPA alone. So with this, I objectively analyze the data and the results. They are cost per click is $2.03, so all this stuff. Frequency is now 1.9. So frequencies, means that people are only seeing the ad 1.9 times their average amount of people instead of seeing it 4 times. Someone sees the same ad 4 times, or seeing your same ads 4 times, it's when it's called ad fatigue. Even on a, since the bottom of the funnel, it might not be as bad, but if, say in this case, I had 2 bottom of the funnel campaigns running, there was overlap, that's going to increase the CPA to go up because I'm bidding with myself. There's also overlap means people are seeing seeing our same ads, so it's going to cause frequency when there may not need to be. So that right there, it decreased it. So I analyzed the test was successful, removing audience overlap, decreased frequency, which stopped me from competing against myself in the auction, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is how you could use scientific method. Now, do I type this up every time I have a problem? No. I mean, I did at first, but now I just think this way with everything. Like my wife asked me what I want for data, and my wife asked me what I want for dinner. Analyze data, do little computer things, and hear in my brain. Way too logical now. But I do this with everything in my life, so I don't need to use this. But this is here. I'll probably send this to you guys or something for you to use. Okay, so that's it for this one. I hope you guys liked this lesson. There was a lot. We went over all the way to the psychology side of things, why humans think, and then we also talked about the scientific method and all that stuff. So finally, we're going to be going into Facebook ads, what you've paid for. I feel like I did you guys a favor. A lot of people don't like learning about psychology, why people buy, but at the end of the time, I wouldn't do this course for Era of Ecom unless that I would get the full. I'm not leaving anything out on the table, right? It's a bad name on course gurus, digital marketers, and people out there. They're putting a bad name for us by just giving you a smidge of how they really do their process, but behind the scenes, they're doing so much different stuff. I'm a very transparent person, and I can't help it to not be. So just by me recording myself and blabbling, I'm just telling you everything I do in my day-to-day process, okay, where I spend $20,000 a day on Facebook ads, and I'm just helping. And for me, it's not about the money. It's not about spending $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a day. Wow, so cool. I've made one of my clients $200,000 in one day. Doesn't faze me. What the cool thing is that the clients that I pick are actually ethical people. They're actually helping the world. So I feel amazing by helping the world, by turning the lights on, 10xing their business, which is 10xing all the people's lives that we affect. So I know I just got a little rant there, but just want to let you know the next lesson is going to be about the Facebook auction, the algorithm, machine learning, and that type of stuff in Facebook. We're going straight diving into Facebook, okay? Hope you enjoyed this, and I'm forward to looking at you in the very next lecture. Thanks.